Hello. On today's presentation, we would like to come up with a new global streamlined privacy-focused electronic banking solution powered by AI. Together with me, I've invited Krzysztof Sypniewski.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Krzysztof is Products Development Manager responsible for designing and delivering that products to our partners and clients. Me, myself, Magdalena Stepczyńska, I'm Senior Sales Specialist here in IT.integro. The idea behind our solution is that actually we have now quite a long experience in delivering banking solutions for our clients. We've started 20 years ago. At first, it was the solution designed for our Polish clients and offering integration with Polish banks. It was largely prepared for together with Polish localization, but as our experience have grown, we have also started cooperating with global clients, with global organizations, and delivering the idea of our solution to such international organizations. And based on that three pillars, our experience in designing integrations with banks, in our international projects, and preparing the solutions, also taking in line the legislation and local requirements, we have designed the completely new banking solutions that we would like to present to you today. So we've called it electronic banking. Of course, this is also supported by artificial intelligence, but in a moment. Definitely many clients have encountered and partners are also familiar with a standard process that is developed by Business Central standard features, and we would like to show you the differences between the standard process and our. So as you are aware, in Business Central, you first start with creating the bank transfer orders. Then this data is, of course, exported to a bank. Then in the banking systems, that data is important, processed, executed. Of course, again, in the Business Central, the user have to confirm that this bank transfer orders has been sent and post that transactions. In the meantime, on the side of the bank account, there are new transactions that are incoming to clients' accounts, and that data about that incoming bank transfers are imported to the Business Central, and the user has the new action to execute. He needs to post the incoming bank transfers into accounts in Business Central. And after some time, also bank charges are applied by the bank, and that data is visible on the bank statement that bank creates according to the monthly or daily routine that the client wishes. And that bank statement is imported to Business Central, and the bank charges that are visible there have to be again posted in the accounts in Business Central, and after that all steps, the whole bank account reconciliation process is finished. So as you can see, there are few steps that the user have to execute on Business Central side. And how it is different from what we have prepared and invented in our solution. We have thought about much more streamlined process, and this is what we've come up with. So there are definitely fewer steps. So again, the user starts in this streamlined process, of course, with preparing bank transfer orders that is exported to the bank. On the side of the bank, that data is processed, so the orders are sent to the recipients. Of course, in the meantime, there are other transactions that are visible on bank accounts, like incoming transfers. Bank also applies some charges, and all of that data is then stored on one bank statement created by the bank. As I said, monthly, weekly, sometimes daily, depending on client's routine. And that bank statement is then imported to Business Central, and this is our only source of truth, and this is the moment when the user posts all of that transactions on proper accounts in Business Central. So as you can see, there are less steps that the user has to do and has to remember about executing on Business Central side. So we think that it should be much more useful tool for the client. Okay, so now let's see
how it works in application. I hope you are not surprised that in our application we implemented the second streamlined process. But before I will go through the whole process and also show you how we implemented Copilot, I want to introduce you our data structure. We add that two new useful documents, payment proposal document and bank statement document. Payment proposal document contains a list of bank transfer orders. Each line of payment proposal document represents a single bank transfer order. We also provided very useful tools that help user to create a new payment proposal lines. The second document is bank statement document. It corresponds to the bank statement document created by a bank. Each line of bank statement is a separate transaction listed on bank account, such as incoming payments, outgoing payments, and also some kind of charges. We also provide AI-powered tools that help users to manage this type of document. Let's come back to our process. Now I will start with the first two steps. Create bank transfer orders and export to the bank. I will show you how it works in our system. I start with a dedicated page for electronic banking user. From this one, I can go to payment proposal list. If I want to create a new payment proposal, I need to click New, New from template, and choose the specific template. Template is a set of values that will be copied to the payment proposal document. When I accept it, a new payment proposal document has been created. Now what I need to do is to enter a new payment proposal lines. How to do it? I have a few ways to do it. First is vendor payment worksheet. I can see a list of all open vendor ledger entries. It's a page, so I can filter it, I can sort it, I can also save you as. But if I know which invoice I want to pay, I can simply select it and assign transfer amount. After the amount is assigned, I'm able to create new payment proposal lines. I'm able to choose if I want to use due date as a transfer date, and also I can choose the aggregation level. In this example, I will aggregate these two lines, vendor ledger entries lines, because it's for the same vendor, and it's better to aggregate it in one transfer. When I accept it, a new payment proposal line has been created. The second way to create a payment proposal line is report suggest payment. Based on all open vendor ledger entries or employee ledger entries, it calculates and creates new payment proposal lines. I can set up some options. I can skip, for example, some employees ledger entries. I can set up the last payment date. I'm also able to assign the transfer date of the new payment proposal line. In my example, I will also filter for the vendor 20,000. When I accept it, a new payment proposal line has been created. What I can do now, I can verify the result, I can edit it, I can add a new line, or I can remove the proposal from the system. If the list is completed, I'm able to verify the number of transactions and also the total amount. I'm also able to verify if there is any errors. The very common error that I can get here is the possibility that there's some missing data. For example, bank can expect some address and there is no data in the system. So in this step, I will get the message from the system to enter the missing data. If everything is correct, I can go to and send the payment proposal to the bank. Simply one click and the payment proposal has been sent to the banking system and the payment proposal has been archived. So let's go to the presentation. So now we have that there was the first step, but now we can go to the bank side. Bank imports and process this bank transfer orders that we send to them. After a while, they also process the incoming bank transfer and process bank charges. And also at the end, they create a bank statement that I can simply import to our system. So let's go to the demo to see how it works. Okay, now I can see a list of bank statements because the bank statement is already in the system because I set up a job queue to import it every morning. I can open it. When I open it, I can see that there is a bank statement from the 4th of November. It contains all of the operation, all of the transaction listed on the bank account. Of course, now my job is to link every of this line to a specific account type and a specific account number, and also to link it to the specific vendor ledger entry or customer ledger entries to apply it with these entries to be able to post it. It can be very time consuming to go through every steps and link and enter every account type and account number, and for every line to open the apply entries and link it with the specific one. Of course, in the situation when there's many of the invoices. But we prepared very useful functionalities which help user to manage it much more quicker. I will go through all of the lines and show you exactly which functionality work here. So let's start with the first line. The first line is the payment that I made in the previous demo. It contains of 2 invoices, and as you see, it's already green. Green, it means that it's already fully applied. Why it's fully applied? Because when we export the payment proposal to the bank, we assigned some kind of payment reference to the bank. And on the bank statement, we get it back. And based on this value, we can link it to the source vendor ledger entries. That's why the first line is already done. The second line is incoming payments from our customer. This customer paid for only 1 invoice. And why here the account type and account number are already assigned? Because we have a functionality called mapping ID to account, which based on the account number can map the values to the specific account type and account number. Then we have the third line. The third line is our payment to vendor, and it contains of all the services, all the invoices from the October, right? But it was not done from our system. It was done outside of our system. That's why payment reference doesn't work here. Okay, and also the vendor here is assigned because mapped ID to account functionality worked. The fourth line is incoming payments from our customer, and it's also all of the invoices from the October of 2025. And also the customer is already assigned because mapping ID to account worked. The last line is a monthly fee for account. It's a very common situation that on the bank statement there are some fees. And we have a functionality that help us to link it to the specific GL account. We have the functionality called mapping text to account, which based on the description of the transaction can link it to the specific to the specific GL account. It's very useful for the situation for bank fees like monthly fees or transfer fees when we have every fee for every transaction visible on the account. So most of the job is done, but still we need to link these 3 lines to the specific vendor ledger entries and customer ledger entries to fully apply it and to close the vendor and customer ledger entries. We can of course made it manually, but we created a very useful tool called Suggest Application with Copilot. I can run it. Okay, I can run it and now I can see that all lines are applied. That's a very good information for us, because if we accept this suggest of application, everything is done and we can simply post the bank statement. But let me take deeper into what I can see here. First, I can see the auto-applied lines. This is the lines that was applied based on built-in solution. One line was applied based on the payment reference. It was the first line that was already green. The second line was applied, that was the second line. It was the incoming payments from our customer, because it was a very simple payment, because it was the payments for only one invoice to be honest. And built-in solution work well in this type of situation. But built-in solution failed a little bit in the situation when we have incoming payments for many invoices, and also the description is not the list of all the invoices, and also when we pay to our vendor and we also change the title and do not include the number of invoices inside. But in this situation, Copilot fixed it. How it fixed it? Because based on some data, the Copilot search to link it to the specific vendor or customer ledger entries. Here we have the application proposal. So for every lines, I can check what is the proposal of Copilot. I can open it and I can see that there's 2 lines that we pay for the vendor. And also the second line is for the customer, so the incoming payments from our customer, which paid for 4 invoices, and here I can check that Copilot links it well. If I accept the application proposal from Copilot, I can keep it. Of course, if there was some mistakes, I can discard it and make it once again or make it manually. In this situation, everything worked well, so I can accept it, keep it. But also I want to add that there are some non-application lines. This is the last line, which for now we do not apply it with some entries. When I keep it, you can see that almost all of the lines are green. So what I can do now is I can verify the balance of the account, and if everything is correct, I can simply post the bank statement. Let me do it. After a while, the bank statement is posted and we can see it, we can open it and see it, how it looks like after the posting. And that's all what I want to add about importing and posting the bank statement support with Copilot.
Hold on, Krzysiek. So it means that if I am the user, it's really simple for me to prepare such transaction. Okay, so let's try it. I have my view of electronic banking user. I see some bank statement that awaits for being processed. Okay, this is the same bank statement that you have just seen. So we have some already matched lines. The rest still awaits for preparing and matching it with the proper transactions. Okay, checking how the suggest with Copilot works. The result is exactly the same. So, okay, If I'm sure that these are these invoices, I keep it.
Yes.
Everything is correctly applied. I post it. Yes, I want to post it. Okay. Okay, probably now it will just come up with some summary. So yeah, I haven't checked exactly, but it seemed less than 30 seconds, so pretty much promising. So I hope that it will be the same useful solution for your clients.
I hope so too. Okay, so now you saw how we import and post the bank statement, and you saw the whole process how we implement it in our application. Now I want to focus on a different topic because I want to focus of how our process handle the situation when we have a client that has companies in many countries. So I want to show it to you on an example. So I have a customer who has companies in Denmark, Germany, and in Poland. In Denmark, there is necessary to add integration for Danske Bank, and there's local requirements for FIC. In Germany, there needs to add a banking integration for Deutsche Bank and also HSBC. In Poland, there is integration with Santander and local requirements for split payment and whitelist. How we do it? We simply do it the same way like Microsoft does. Because Microsoft, when he needs to extend the W1 functionality with some extension for some local countries and so on, they created a new extension that extend the base application. So the architecture of our solution is split into two types of application. First is the base application, which contains of all of the process like creating payment proposal and also applying and posting bank statement, and also the functionalities, and also extensions that contain of local requirements and also banking integration. So in our example, it will be this type of situation when we have electronic banking extension from Denmark with integration for Danske Bank and for local requirements for FIC, electronic banking extension for Germany with integration with Deutsche Bank and HSBC, and electronic bank extension for Poland for Santander and local requirements for split payment and whitelist. And this is what we can propose to our customer. So for every country is a separate extension. But I think it's here worth to mention that we are developing our extension based on the rule that we want to be able to install each extension not only in the localization of this country but also in the other countries. It's a very useful when your client wants to open only a bank account in different countries, right? To sell something to a customer in a different country. What if my client asks me to add a new extension, for example, Switzerland, and he needs to add integration for UBS and also local requirements for QL Bill. And there is a missing integration. For us, it's not a problem. We can add a new extension. Why? Because we have experience with this one. We have a proven development methodology how to add a new extension, how to make a new integration with a bank. We are also open for the collaboration with our partners. So if you have your customer who wants to add a new extension, we are open for it. Last but not least, there is no extra fees to create charges to create a new extension. There's only license fees, right? Only license fees, no extra charges for development of this one. So we can add a new extension, electronic bank extension, Switzerland, for a new country. Of course, number of our extensions are still growing, and now we are almost in every country around the Europe. Last but not least, when we are designing our functionality, our application, we based on the main rule, privacy. We don't want and we do not process customer data. There is no resources in the middle of Business Central and a bank. We do not process any data. There is no server, no any other resources. It's safe because we don't keep, we don't touch, and we don't see any of the data from the customer side.
That's correct. Okay, so now more to some commercials connected with our application. As already Krzysztof mentioned, the customer gets two types of apps to be installed. The electronic banking base app, that is free application. The customer pays only for the extensions. And the main rule here is that the customer pays for the integration with a bank that he chooses to use, or 2 or 3 banks, depending on customer needs. So if the customer wishes to have only one bank, there is one simple payment of 47 euro per month for subscription payments. But what is also worth mentioning, and that might be very useful information for customers with larger organizations, that we also prepare that product to be available on perpetual licenses. So no matter if in case of such larger corporations is quite common. If the customer has few databases, some of the companies are already running on BC Online, and other companies are still with on-prem licensing with their own installation servers, we can deliver that solution to the whole group, just having the solution available for both on-prem and online licensing and online type of licenses what the clients uses. So I hope that this is something that will be appealing to the clients wishing to use it. Okay, so slowly we are going to the end of our today presentation. So let's sum up the benefits that the clients can get from using of our electronic banking solution. So first of all, the whole group of application is designed as the application for global companies working with this process exactly the same, no matter of the country of usage. The only thing that changes is actually either the bank interface that is specific for the specific country and the bank in that country, or some local requirements that of course might occur for such client. Another benefit is that the process is much simpler for the user. He doesn't need to do that many of postings on the side of Business Central than in the standard process. Very important, if not the most important for our clients, is that we do not see and keep the data of our clients. The data is exported and imported directly from Business Central to the banking systems, so to two large and very well protected areas, and we do not in any moment of that process, we do not intermediate here, and we do not transfer the data through any of our servers or infrastructure. Of course, something that is also quite now interesting for our clients is that the solution is modern, open for new technology, and we are preparing AI tools to help the users working with that solution. So the Copilot you have seen when creating the bank statements on the Business Central site. And the Last benefit is the simple pricing. For that solution, you do not need any large calculation sheets to check how many accounts the client has, or to check the number of transactions that are transferred within that solution. The pricing here is quite simple. One bank, one payment, and that's it. Okay, but of course, we do not stop here. We have the plans. Some of them are closer, some will be developed in the further future. For now, these are the extensions that we have in progress. So we are preparing the extensions for the countries named here. But if you have other countries that will be in range of interest of your client, please come up to us and we will see how we can prepare new extensions for that countries. Of course, not only new countries are within our range of interest for future, but we will be also exploring to more extent the artificial intelligence options, and we will be preparing the co-pilot to suggest the payments. So this action that right now was done more manually, we think that in some months we will be able to present suggest the payment orders with Copilot. So let's wait for that. And of course, for some further future, we plan to develop the independent AI agent that will be supporting preparing the whole bank statement bookings in the Business Central, just with a little help of the user. So these are the plans for the future, and I hope you like it, and we'll see that some of that functions in quite near future. Okay, so and how can you learn more about the solution? On this QR code, you can find the documentation site, docs prepared by us. That documentation site is publicly opened, so you can share it with your consultants, you can share it with the clients, and you can check the functions that are available in the application right now. But this documentation site also contains the plans for the future with a short description, what comes with new functions. And of course, we are publishing release notes there, so you are aware what every new release brings with them. So you do not need to check it in some other resources. Everything is on this document page. Of course, you can also go to the App Source site, and in that store you can find our application. And due to the fact that the electronic banking base is free, you can download it, install in some sandboxes or in production environments from the customers, and try how the process can look like, if this is something that is appealing to your client, because the base app already contains some dummy documents for payment orders and for bank transfers, so the whole process can be checked from the beginning till the end. So this is it from us for today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.
See you soon. And of course, you can find the address, the email address, if you would like to contact us with some more questions. So thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.